I worked as a union carpenter for over 10 years, making about 100K a year. And a few years ago, I walked away from that to start my own business. And now I'm walking away from that too. Buckle up, boys. Here we go. I'm going to get to it, but first a little bit of context. So I was 21 years old when I first got in the union, and I had been framing houses and went to a carpentry high school since I was 13 years old. So by the time I was 21, I already had 8 years experience. I could pretty much build a house without plans and any guidance on my own. So when I got in the union, I got to skip the school and the apprenticeship program, and I got to get straight in as a journeyman right away, making the full salary. At the time, that was crazy money for a 21-year-old. I mean, I was blowing money on the weekends. I had a Ford Fusion and a Ford Ranger, count them, two shit boxes. Okay, fast forward 10 years later, now I'm 31, I'm down to one shit box, and I don't even have, what you would expect to have after 10 years of grinding at 100K a year. And at that time, I figured, I'm just spinning my wheels, and also I was feeling very much like a barcode, very much like a number on the back of a jersey, okay? Building in the city is very thankless. I mean, I appreciate all my union brothers out there that, honestly, they made me the man I am today. I learned a lot about them. I learned a lot from them about work ethic and, how to live a life as an adult. But at the end of the day, paying 40 bucks to park, dropping $21 at coffee break to get yourself through the day because you feel like you deserve it. I mean, I didn't have great saving habits. I'm sure you could make, a lot of people are thinking you made 100K a year, you could easily get by. But just for the sake of this story, and the truth is, by the time I was 31, I really didn't have shit after making 10 years union money. And so I decided I was gonna have a better way of life and get to really build what I wanted to build if I opened my own carpentry company. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I didn't leave right away. I've owned my business for 5 years, but I've only been out of the union for about 4. So the final year in the union, I was starting up my business, getting jobs, calling out sick, because, fuck them. They don't really care about you, so you might as well get yours just the same way they are. So I built up my company, and the first 3 years of my company was straight trash. I basically lost 50 grand and was in the hole playing catch up for 3 years straight, because even though I was great at building and I could sell any job that I could because I could build it, I didn't know dick about running a business, and that led to serious problems. I didn't realize what type of capital it would take to hire people. I fell behind, ate some of that money. Now we'll fast forward to today, and I'm finally in a place where my company's making good money. I feel really good about it. But I'm walking away from this too, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But first, I'm gonna tell you a story of why there's different tiers to this shit. So a few years ago, they did a study of the #1 ranked happiness country in the world, and I think whatever year it was, it turned out to be Vietnam, okay? So what these people did is they went and they interviewed a family in Vietnam and kind of asked them, why are you so happy? What is it that about your lifestyle that you guys got ranked the #1? I don't know what metrics they use to judge it, but people smarter than me figured it out, okay? So they go and they interview the family, and what ends up happening is the family that they interviewed, which was like a farming family, they all lived together, ages 1 to 100 in the same house. They work their rice fields, they eat dinner together, they live together. They got a good life, and they don't got four-wheelers and cars and trucks and all the things that we think that we want. All right, so what happens is the old man, the father of the family, he gets like micro famous from this interview. Gets offered money to go, he does a job or something in the city, ends up with a cell phone, he keeps leaving, and they go and they check back in on the family about a year later. And what they find out is that everyone in the family is complaining that their life has gone to shit. Now their father's not around. They got TVs, they got stuff they didn't need, and it's breaking them down. So the point of this story is that each tier that you move up, you sacrifice this attachment to society and the stuff that we think we need, and you move away from it and you get to bump up a tier in happiness. So that's interesting, right? So kind of don't worry, this is all gonna make sense of why I'm leaving my company. So now, more context into today. So at this point, I've already dug myself out of the 50 grand hole. I've trudged through countless amounts of jobs to, pay off the equipment that I've got here and everything that I've built with my business. And basically where I'm at now is I've just sold a job that's kind of like record breaking for me. Now, I'm not saying this to try to flex or anything, but you need to know what it is that I'm walking away from for this to make sense. So I just sold a job. At this point, I'm basically working for the rich because I just sold a job. It's like a kitchen and a bathroom remodel in a pretty small apartment, and this thing's 600 grand. So by the end of like 12 weeks, I think I'm going to walk away with 80K. And as of right now, I mean, I'm still kind of broke, in terms of speaking, but most people would think, oh, you've broken through in the market and you're finally getting the customer base that you want. And now you could keep running that. What are you going to make? You did that 3-4 times a year. You're making doctor money. Pretty good. You're going to break through the next tier. Well, just like when I walked away from the union to get freedom, I'm going to walk away from this too to get freedom. Every time I've YOLO'd in my life, I've come out on top, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. In 2019, just before COVID hit, I was so interested in Japanese carpentry that I saved up 5,000 bucks to take a Japanese carpentry classroom in Japan because it was a $5,000 ticket price to do the 2-week classroom. And you had to reserve the classroom a year in advance. I think you had to put down like 100 bucks or something to reserve the class. So I saved up every bit of the 5,000. I reserved the class. And there was a moment when I was looking at my bank account and I'm like, for 5,000 bucks, I could literally just go to Japan right now and skip the class and have the money to go check this out and figure it out kind of, in lieu of waiting to save up another 5K to afford the trip. So that's exactly what I did. I went on workaway.com and I found this lady, Sabrina, nice lady. She owned a language school for kids, like a toddler's kindergarten where they speak English, right? And she needed a carpenter. So in exchange for some carpentry work, she was going to let me stay at her house for free. Well, not free, right? I'm going to work there in the mornings and do carpentry stuff, but the rest of the time is my free time. So I did that. I went for 2 weeks, and when I was there, I happened to meet quite a nice lady. Fast forward, she's my wife now. I got a Japanese wife. Turned out to be the greatest thing I ever did, but I literally YOLO'd my whole thing to do it, and it turned out to be great. I YOLO'd my career as a carpenter and built a company that I can be proud of that's making some good money right now. So logically speaking, the best thing I can do is YOLO this company away, move to Japan and start from scratch and suffer again and build it up from nothing. And, maybe I'm a masochist. I'm not saying that this type of thing is like for everybody, but, just playing video games growing up, I couldn't even get off unless I played the most absolute hardcore. If you die, your whole account's wiped and you lose everything. That's like the only thing I can even enjoy. So maybe I'm just that type of person who likes to build it up just good enough, wipe it out, and start from scratch just to suffer. Because suffering is awesome. That's when you feel the best, I think. I mean, maybe I'm sick in the head. Probably I am. But maybe I gambled too much on RuneScape as a kid. So who knows? I'm probably cooked. Anyhow, so in about 12 weeks, I'll probably make 80 grand. And that's literally just enough to go buy a $60,000 house in Japan, start from scratch with dog shit, and build up from nothing. But what am I going to get out of it? Instead of going to these job sites and working for the rich and putting up trim and cabinets and flooring and sheetrock and windows and stuff that's not very fun for me as a carpenter, I'm going to get to go and build a Japanese house and do these type of projects that I'm obsessed with. And I can actually spend my entire day enjoying myself again, just like I did when I left the union and started building up this company. I'm signing up. So maybe I'm going to regret it, but every time I've done this, I haven't regretted it. And that comes with a little caveat of like, it doesn't happen instantly. Like these things are like 1 to 2 year time frames before you actually get the achievement of the thing, right? Like I YOLO to Japan. I end up with a beautiful family. I YOLO from the union, I end up with a beautiful company. I YOLO from the company, I'm gonna end up with a beautiful house in Japan and a lifestyle that I enjoy and quite possibly another business. So maybe I can sell myself as a carpenter in Japan as well and fix up some houses for some English-speaking folks. Because it seems as though that a lot of people these days who are buying abandoned homes in Japan, they'd probably be finding it easier to hire an English-speaking carpenter than it is to hire a Japanese one. And even though you don't get paid a lot of money in there for doing the work, I think a Japanese carpenter makes like 400 bucks a week. I mean, I feel crazy blessed that I can make between 400 and 1,200 bucks a day here, but at the cost of running around like a maniac, taking phone calls until 7 o'clock at night, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I traded one rat race for my own rat race that I have to manage myself. So maybe after 5 years of working in Japan and building up that whole dream, I'll YOLO that for a rice farm and just be a crazy farmer dude who's out of his mind, and I'll just keep doing this my whole life. Maybe I'll never stop just throwing away everything I build and starting from scratch. But it's kind of fun starting from scratch. I mean, think about when you play a video game and you like max everything out, and then you're like, what do? You get to the end game and you're like grinding for that one last item, but then it's all of a sudden more fun to like start a new character. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to the whole wipe it and start from scratch thing that humans enjoy, like the early game. I don't know what that means. Let me know if I'm a psychopath in the comments. I got shit to do today. If you like Japanese carpentry, Japanese property, we got a Discord. Come hang out and chat in there. Otherwise, peace.